Yeah, welcome back, and we will be continuing our discussion on the suicide statistics. Well, let me just take you through quickly some suicide statistics from the World Health Organization. Well, according to the WHO, about 800,000 people commit suicide every year. 800,000 people commit suicide every year. That's not just the information they have. Apart from that, suicide is the second leading cause of death among 19 and 21-year-olds. That kind of explains to you the trend of suicide that we're having right here in the country. And they go on to say that for every suicide that has been committed, there has been many more attempts. So if somebody commits suicide today, it is possible that the person actually contemplated it before, or actually has tried or has attempted suicide before. So for every suicide committed, there has been many more attempts. Now, 75% of global suicides occur in low and middle income countries. And you do know that Ghana falls within that range, don't we? So 75%, according to the WHO, of global suicides occur in low and middle income countries. Now, here, this is the most common ways that people commit suicide: ingestion of pesticide, hanging, and using firearms. These are among the most common methods of suicide. So this afternoon's or this morning's suicide, for instance, we understand that, well, if it is indeed suicide, that this man tried to hang himself. So that is one of the commonest ways of someone will decide to take their lives. These are just a bit of information from the statistics that the World Health Organization has put together. So the statistics really keep soaring. And so what really is the missing link? Earlier this morning on News Desk, we spoke to Dr. Joseph Osafo, who is a suicidologist, and his position is that the establishment of a national policy for suicide prevention will suffice. We'll be talking about this National Suicide Prevention Program with Dr. Akwesi Osei, who is Chief Psychiatrist and CEO of the Mental Health Authority. He'll be joining us live on the show. But really, has it ever crossed your mind? I'm talking about suicide. What did you do? If it did cross your mind, what happened at that moment? That is the question that we've been asking both on Facebook and on the street. First, let's hear thoughts from the streets.
2 years ago, in 2015, the Chief Executive Officer of the Mental Health Authority, Dr. Akwesi Osei, said that there are at least 1,500 cases of suicides reported annually. Now, for every case that was reported, there are at least 4 which go unreported, with men being more likely to attempt suicide and older men and women being more likely to attempt and succeed at suicide than their younger counterparts. Now this afternoon, Joy News is here at Achimota, where another case of an alleged suicide occurred. And we're finding out from the public whether or which situation would drive them to take their own lives.
Yeah, I've been through a lot, and yeah, I have many reasons to just kill myself. Let me say, just to leave this world. Yeah. One time, yeah, I was raped. I was raped when I was a kid. So, like, it really affected me. I felt bad when my friends sit down and talk, and I'm in their midst, and I felt loose, like I felt really left out. And at times, at times too, my friends tease us, those who are not virgins a lot, say they will get guys who will marry them, and of late guys these days just use girls and dab them, and they want to marry those who are virgins and all that. And I just feel hurt because it wasn't my will that I should be this virgin. It wasn't my will. Like, actually someone took advantage of me, and I feel very bad about it a lot.
That will inspire me to kill myself, because I don't see any use in killing myself, because I live for a purpose and I've not achieved the purposes.
Why should I kill myself? I mean, for what? I don't have a reason to kill myself. I know that God is still in control of my future. So when there's life, there's hope.
Why would you kill yourself? If in all things give thanks to God, for He only knows why, then you must have faith and hope. And for that much, as Christ in His exemplary conduct and the life He led, and his resurrection. The power of resurrection means that give all to God and live your life and do your best that you can.
There's no way I'm going to take my life. I cherish my life so much that I can't lose it to anything. No matter the circumstances, no matter the situation, I'm not going to lose my life for anything.
So those are some thoughts on the street. We'll engage our social media. I'm talking about Facebook page and see what responses we've had so far. But Dr. Akwesi Osei is Chief Psychiatrist and CEO of the Mental Health Authority. He joins me live on the show. Hello, Doc. Thank you very much for your time.
You're
Hello,
welcome.
Doc. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you also hear me? You are welcome.
I hear you. I hear you perfectly. Thank you very much. Now, let's talk about suicide. Now, even though it's really not a new phenomenon, in less than a month, we seem to have recorded about 5 deaths already. And it's suspected to be suicide, of course. What really, from where you sit, is the missing link?
Yeah, thank you very much, and a good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Really, it's a worrisome development. Suicide is quite common, I must say, generally. But in the last 1 month, for us to be recording so many is obviously not a pleasant situation. Generally, what we often don't appreciate, or the public often does not appreciate, is that for every 100 cases of suicide, 95 of them, so in other words, 95% of all attempted suicides or completed suicides are actually from mental health problems, psychological issues. And of course, my saying so does not mean, and I'm not saying that they are madness or the people who attempted suicide were mad, no, but they certainly had psychological issues. Yeah. They are actually crying for help. Attempted suicide is a cry for help, that they really want some needs to be met. And these needs may have come from various angles, including among students, for instance, a pressure of work. Somebody may be taking a course that a person thinks he or she may not be interested in, but is probably pressurized by the parents, or may be interested in it, but there he or she meets other people and the coursework becomes a little too competitive for him or her, or other attending problems. And so all this becomes a pressure on the person's mind. And so on the spur of the moment, at that point, he thinks, in fact, his coping mechanisms would have broken down, and so he thinks the only way out is to attempt suicide. Somebody else may be involved in a relationship issue, a relationship gone sour, and the person thinks it's a failure or she's a failure, and the only way out is to attempt suicide. Somebody may have a frank or underlying frank mental illness, depression, bipolar disorder or mood disorder, or some other kind of mental illness, and suicide becomes a way out for the person. So these are various issues which we need to recognize. I have been listening to some of your sister stations, radio and TV stations, lambasting those who attempt suicide or else their parents. Don't you realize that life is worth it, and are you stupid to be attempting suicide? All that shows lack of understanding. In actual fact, they are crying for help, and we should take it upon ourselves as a society to say that we have failed them, rather than to blame them or their relatives for not preventing the phenomenon.
Having said that, there are several cries for help, and it appears that people won't even tell you if they have contemplated suicide, but there is this cry for help that is still lingering on in the society. Someone is advocating for the setup, for the establishment of a national, some kind of national program that seeks to prevent suicide. You are at the helm of affairs when it comes to mental health. Will this suffice? What are you doing about this trend? What can you do, really?
Yes, we need a holistic approach program. Simply putting a policy might not be the ultimate solution. It's one of the ways, that's fine, but we need to look at it holistically. Our mental health issues generally, do we recognize mental health issues? Do we have the necessary structures to handle mental health problems? That is very crucial. As we talk right now, we have a Mental Health Act, thank God, Act 846, but the enabling legislative instrument, LI, is not there, and it's the LI that will really fulfill or ensure that the Mental Health Act is fully implemented. So if you don't have the LI, you may have the policy, the anti-suicide policy, that might not resolve the issue. So you need the airline, you need to get the act fully implemented. You need to resource the facilities, the authority and the facilities to be able to institute all these policies and approaches that we want.
Right.
So it's holistic. Part of it, if you have all this in place, will be massive public education. And indeed, we will also want to establish employee assistance programs in schools and workplaces to educate people and to give counseling opportunities so that people will get to know the underlying issues and be able to quickly identify these when they begin to set in.
Okay, but then, Doc, you mentioned that the LI that should back you, the Mental Health Authority, to do all of these things is non-existent. But we know that the Mental Health Act has been in operation for some time now. So what is it really? Are you facing some challenges that's making it, quite apart from resources that you talk about? What is it really that's making it difficult for you to do, or for the Mental Health Authority to do what it ought to do?
The passage of the act was certainly very good, but that is not all. We need this other aspect, the airline. Parliament is not passing it, and we need to urge Parliament. One main thing, actually, in fairness to Parliament, is that the airline talks about mental health levy, and that levy will be fulfilled by a mental health fund, and which requires a mental health levy. That levy will need to be decided by the Minister of Finance. It is the Ministry of Finance that is to give that final decision before it can go into the airline, before Parliament can pass. So that is still outstanding, and so that's very important. Having said that, let me quickly say that in the meantime, we are also urging Parliament to decriminalize attempted suicide. As we speak right now, these ladies or all the people who were involved in the suicide, if thank God they had failed and they had not died in other ways, they would have been taken to jail by the laws of our land. That is unfortunate. So we must decriminalize it. We must remove that criminal code that says attempted suicide is a crime.
Right.
Plus all these other measures, the airline ensuring that the Mental Health Authority or the Mental Health Act works, public education, all these will be measures that will reduce. Plus, of course, I also believe that the government must also do all they can to fix the economy. Let's also not forget about that. If the economy is not booming and people are having hardships, you will have this happening. So that's why I say it's holistic, not just one side of the story.
So we look at all of these sides. Now, 2 of the cases happened on university campuses. As a mental health expert, what would you recommend to the university campuses? Is there something that they should be paying more attention to that perhaps they are ignoring?
I think they should look at their guidance and counseling centers. I know they all have, but they might not be adequate in terms of numbers of counselors, in terms of the ratio of counselor to students, or the ratio of students to tutors. These are very important. If you don't have students, especially these days when they are very young, when they are at the university, their brains are still forming. Their judgment is not exactly formed. Right. They will need that support. So they will need to look at, the universities will need to look at the guidance and counseling centers and beef up the staffing. You require more clinical psychologists to be attached to them so that they can quickly pick out any issues arising and prevent it before it gets out of hand.
Okay. Before I let you go, Doc, you talk about the funding that you need as the Mental Health Authority so that you can be more efficient. Were you disappointed about the budget reading? Did you find yourself in there somewhere?
I think the budget gave a line that attention will be given to mental health care, and that's very good. That gives us the opportunity to be able to bargain for more. So to me, that is good. The fact that at least you were mentioned there gives us the opportunity. So now we are going to engage the Minister of Health, Minister of Finance, and indeed the Presidency, so that we can actualize the issues with respect to mental health care.
Okay. What about the family and social structure? Is it able to deal, is there something that the family and social structure of this country can, do about dealing with this trend of suicide that we're seeing?
For now, it's not adequate. I must say, in the past, suicide has been there all along, I must say. But we seem to be getting the spate increasing these days. Partly because the family structures that used to be there, that supported ourselves, are breaking down. In the past, everybody was everybody's responsibility. Every child was every family's responsibility. So you could go to your uncle, you could go to your whoever, for the person to give you all the counseling. Now, because of the nuclear family system, we don't have that support. So as the family system is breaking down, to our worry, we now require the modern structures to be put in place to support the system which is now no longer there. And that is why we require the guidance and counseling. We require the society to appreciate the role of clinical psychologists and the mental health workers generally. But we are not recognizing that. So it's now we are like the but in between. The traditional system has broken down. We don't have the modern system to put in place. We will need to bridge that gap.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Kwesi Osei. Dr. Kwesi Osei is CEO of the Mental Health Authority there. He's also chief psychiatrist there, talking to us about this trend, this very worrying trend of suicide in this country. Talking about moving away from suicide, let me tell you about one good thing that's happening. So there's a Well Smart System Challenge that's ongoing. Now, this Well Smart System Challenge pairs senior high school students and teachers in Ghana and the United States of America in a competition. Now, that competition is organized by IREX US, and it is about generating solutions to community problems. A team of 8 from the Accra Academy has made it to the finals. That's a very good thing, isn't it? And in the studio with me is one of the team members. He's actually a researcher. Mr. Bona joins me in the studio so we can have a very quick chit chat. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, madam.
Okay, so you're in SHS what, 2?
SHS 2.
SHS 2. You look so small for SHS 2. But anyway, congratulations that you've made it to the finals. Tell us a bit more about this competition.
Okay, the World Smart STEM Challenge is a virtual exchange program that pairs high school students and teachers in Ghana and the US on competitive basis to create solutions to problems affecting local communities.
Okay. So what are some of the problems that they target?
Unreliable electricity supply.
Okay.
Look at water problems, social problems. That's education.
Okay.
So other economic problems when you talk of finances.
So this particular one looked at what, electricity?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about the invention that you and your team put together. And just so you know, he doesn't have they got this invention, something that they put together that is supposed to deal with electricity needs. But he doesn't have it here because it's a competition and they don't need to outdoor it so soon. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about it. How does this machine work and how did you put it all together?
Okay, call it the Piezomat.
The Piezomat.
And our solution was a cleaner footprint.
Okay. 1
footstep at a time. Repowering kinetic energy using Piezomats. And when we talk of Piezomats, they are substances when stress or force is applied, produces electricity, or it converts the mechanical energy into electricity, which will then be distributed across by using generators or piezo sensors or transducers. So it's much portable and can be used in our communities, whereby, let's say, a car, it can be laid on the streets or malls, churches. So whenever individuals walk on it or whenever cars pass, drive on it, the force it applies,
it generates electricity power. That sounds very interesting. So you're going to you and your team members are going to the United States of America?
Yes, to participate as finalists in the World Smart STEM Challenge.
Okay.
Together with other schools.
Other schools, okay. How many, so all 8 of you are going. When are you going?
15th of March.
15th of March.
Yes,
so is this, what's going to happen if you should win? What's going to happen? Are they going to, say, produce a mass production of this invention? Is that something that they're thinking of?
Yes, please. The winner will be given an opportunity and the resources needed to produce it on large scale. To
produce it on large scale. Well, that would be very good for Ghana since we're having Dumso right now. So what happened? What's happening here? Chemistry time. This is a video from Accra Academy. Tell us a bit about it.
And this was an introduction video it was all part of the competition.
Okay.
When we were asked by IREX to do a video, an introduction video about your school. So that's what Joshua, the leader of the team,
okay,
with one of our chemistry teachers, Mr. Buanomi.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the initial stages of the invention.
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is the initial stages of the invention that is supposed to generate electricity power by just laying it, when it is laid on the floor and people walk on it or vehicles drive on it, it generates electricity power. And they're going into this competition in the United States of America. If they win, then they'll be given the resources and the necessary support to produce this on a large scale. And this will definitely be very useful for a lot of communities here in Ghana who are suffering from Dumsor. Of course, we're looking to solve Dumsor, but in the meantime, this is something that will be of very good help. So you must be very excited, you and your team members.
Yes, please.
So when are you leaving again?
15th March, and I'm looking for it.
15th of March. And okay. Well, you go do Ghana proud there in the United States of America. We'll be here to give you all the necessary support. I've been here with a member of a team of 8 who have come up with an idea of how to solve Ghana's energy problems. Andrew Adansi Bona here will be joining 8 of his team members as they go to the United States of America to participate in the World Smart STEM Challenge. Congratulations to you once again.
Thank you very much.
Okay. You're still watching The Pulse here with me, Gifty and Apia. Very soon we'll be looking at, we'll be making way for sports on The Pulse, but young entrepreneurs have been challenged not to look at challenges and obstacles in fulfilling their dreams at the maiden edition of the International Women's Summit held today at the Accra International Conference Center. Accomplished CEOs shared their experiences as well as their strides that they've made. Here's what they have to say.
I will say that in business, or for that matter, in industry, we are not going to have it easy. That is why we have to keep improving on ourselves all the time. How we can cut waste, attention to details, perseverance, sustainability, not to give up. Because in business and in industry, if you don't take care in terms of the way our upbringing is, you will tend to give up easily. But I will say that whenever there is challenge, that is always where you have to just open your eyes. There is something good out there.
Getting the right workforce, the skilled labor. And so, because I couldn't recruit from anywhere, I had to train that skill. But beyond that, getting accountants, HR managers and all that, I realized that I couldn't pay the full bill, so I was outsourcing. She used to recruit for me. And so that was my major, because our business is a loyalty business, and it's a service. And so if the clients come and they are not satisfied, they would be asking for you, the madam, and you can't service everyone. So I needed to train the right people, and we've trained over 5,000 girls, and we are still training.
Being a trailblazer, we always have to, you know about the sigmoid curve. The product, after a while, it starts coming down. So you have to keep on innovating yourself and jump onto another sigmoid curve. We realize that people tend to copy us, so we have to constantly be ahead, reinvent ourselves using cutting-edge technology, which costs money.
Some young entrepreneurs that Joy News spoke to said that they have been spurred on to break barriers in their field of endeavors.
Have something doing, not to relent that maybe your man is giving you. You have to sit up as a woman and help the family. Even the man is not there, you can do something for yourself. Not to say, I'm a full-time housewife, no. The ladies I saw here, they are able women. They can make things move. One day they can take over the presidentship from the men in Ghana. I know that one day it will happen.
So you in particular, what different thing are you going to do after today's conference?
After today, I have to sit up. I have to sit up and manage my business.
I have learned the basic techniques that involves in entrepreneurship. To be an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to be creative and very innovative.
What one thing struck you that you're going to plant as a seed for your life and for your future?
I think I have to involve myself in creativity. Yes.
Thank you so much.
I had an idea to start up my own NGO, which is the Women Matter movement, where we talk to women about HIV and its effects and how you can live your life knowing you have HIV.
So how is that going to help you? What she said, how is that going to help you break that glass ceiling?
Before that, I didn't have the confidence to go out to talk to people, but now I think I can actually start with the SHS, the senior high schools, talking to them about HIV and its effects and all that. So I think the glass ceiling, right now I've broken through the glass ceiling, and then the confidence is back, and I think I would be able to work on myself.
As women, we should try out crazy stuff. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you don't just be ordinary. You come out of the ordinary and don't flow with the current, but come out and do extraordinary stuff.
So what extraordinary stuff are you going to venture into from today?
Okay, personally, I run a project that aims at training young people in arts and culture related stuff. So we are looking at reviving Ghanaian arts and culture within young people, because we realize that we are mostly following foreign cultures.
Talking about doing crazy things.